Well, happy Monday, folks. Welcome on in. Bronco Nation News Live, bronconationnews.com. BJ Rains with you, rowpaint.com. As you saw, our title sponsor, Power and People, Pride in Painting, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, helping us roll here on a Monday morning, which means it's Mondays with Mallory. And John Mallory is in the rowpaint.com studios there at KTIK. You know him, you love him. You hear him 3 to 6 weekdays on Prater in the Ball Game, KTIK. What's wrong with that?
All right, thanks, BJ. You do, but most of these people probably don't. But anyway, I'm fired up. I love
you know him, you can't stand him. You know him, you can't stand him, but you listen to him 3 to 6 weekdays. Prater in the Ball Game, KTIK.com, the KTIK app, or 95.3 FM. Still weird to say that, by the way, Johnny. 95.3 FM, the new call. I guess they're not that new now, a couple months with the new station, new signal. But happy to have you on a Monday, man. A lot going on. We got the Final Four to talk about. We got Boise State football resuming practice. Folks can get their questions, their comments in now. If you have a question or a comment, Boise State related, any sport, we'll take it. But we're going to focus a little more on football today. Programming note, Abu Kijab will join me tomorrow on the show to sum up his Boise State career and kind of see what's next for him. But Johnny, it's a good day for me, man. I love waking up on days like this. You got the alma mater in the Final Four. You got an iconic player coming back to my hometown team, the Cardinals. I'm in a great mood this morning and happy to talk some sports here, man.
Yeah, spectacular weather outside, too. I drove into the studio this morning. I mean, the sun was out. It's going to be a great week. Love this time of year with March Madness baseball, like you suggested, in spring training, BJ. The NFL draft is now like a month away. I think it's 4 weeks from Thursday, or was it 4 weeks from last Thursday? I haven't kept track, but it's coming up too. Fun time of year for sports. And no question, like you said about that Final Four, I don't know if I've ever in my lifetime had a more star-studded, full of storyline Final Four. And I'm sure we'll get into that. But, I mean, we're going to be pumped all week talking about this stuff.
Now, Jay does say, please avoid any virtual bitch slaps today, fellas.
Yeah, yep.
That's something else, I guess, everyone's talking about that we could get into. But
that has rained on the Final Four parade more than anything. The Will Smith slapping or man slap opens. It wasn't a punch.
I just love the conspiracy that it was fake. I love the conspiracy that it was fake or planned or whatever. I think people.
For me, it was 100% real. And just to see Chris Rock real quick in that situation, how he responded to that. I mean, I've had to do not to that level of obviously with that audience. But sometimes when something happens off key, when the show's going and I still have to drive it on the radio, sometimes you'll stumble and mumble the way Chris Rock did after that. Like, we're going to give away a documentary. No, we're going to give away an Oscar for best documentary. Like, you could just tell he was flustered. That was absolutely real. And I don't know. We probably don't have to get into it. If anybody wants to know more about that, they can go really to any other channel or any other forum right now. Because like you said, that's all anybody is talking about, man.
Well, let's start with the Final Four. And again, we're going to get back into spring football today for folks. The first practice is going on right now on the Blue. And for folks that maybe were all in on Boise State basketball the last couple of weeks, and we're going to kind of have a primer for you and some things to watch and look out for spring football the next 2 weeks. The spring game is April 9th, a week from Saturday. Crazy to believe we got 2 weeks left of football, and then we're done here. Also want to get into Pro Day on Wednesday. Johnny, get your thoughts on that and some of the guys working out, even Khalil Shakir, and then behind him too, if any of the other guys have a shot. We'll look at that. But the Final Four, certainly, as you said, I know it's not Boise State related, technically, but to have the St. Peters of the world and all the upsets and to get what we got, and then to still in the end get Duke versus North Carolina and Kansas versus Villanova. I've got to think the CBS executives are pretty excited, although the Final Four this year is actually on TBS, which might hurt the ratings a little bit on Saturday. But overall, we got the great upsets, and then when it comes down to it, the Final Four are the Blue Bloods that are going to be two good, ratings, two good games. And how about Coach K, the biggest rematch or whatever in history, I guess, to come in the Final Four here for Duke and North Carolina. That's a cool storyline, and then I'm obviously pumped up for the other game as well. But should be some good games on Saturday for four quality teams here.
That's what you just described is how I prefer my Final Four. If I'm a chef and I can cook the Final Four however I want, my entree, my main meal on like a 4-course meal, the final entree is going to be this type of Final Four. Now, you can give me the upsets as delicious appetizers, right? You can give me a cocktail that's an upset before we sit down to dinner. This is the perfect type of Final Four for me. I want to see the best teams. I want to see the biggest storylines. I want to see future NBA lottery picks in the Final Four. And that's what we get with this. Now, St. Peter's, terrific story. Obviously, they ran into this Carolina buzzsaw that a lot of teams, including the Duke Blue Devils, have run into lately. I mean, and we've all heard the stats. They played over 250 times since 1940. They've never met in any NCAA tournament game. And it just so happens the first time it does happen is in a Final Four, not like a second or Sweet 16 round game, BJ, but it's also Coach K's farewell tour. Hubert Davis, his first year in Chapel Hill. Did I just say that? Freudian slip. BJ, that's the perfect matchup there. The Duke and Carolina Final Four matchup. But it's crazy. No one's talking about Kansas and Villanova. And Villanova and Jay Wright have won 2 tournaments in the last few years. Like, they have been on an impressive, amazing, historical run. Even for the Big East Conference, it doesn't look like it used to. And then your Rock Chalk, bro. Your Jayhawks, Bill Self, getting back into one of these things. He's only won it once. It's a big only, though. With this tournament is almost impossible to win. Going back to 2008, Kansas, and I like their talent, too. I think they can beat Villanova, or at least be close, and maybe they can have that historical matchup. Whatever it's going to be for Monday, it's going to be a terrific matchup. There's not that one team that kind of slid in, and you're like, well, they're good and everything, but I don't need to see them on Championship Monday. Give me any way you slice it and dice it, you're going to get a terrific matchup on Monday, too. So I know you're pumped. You got a great fan base, Rock Chalk, Jayhawk. I know you guys were all at a local establishment watching that Saturday, or was that Saturday or Sunday?
That was yesterday afternoon.
Or maybe you were there on Friday. That's where I saw you guys.
Both times.
So that was a lot of fun, man. But yeah, The Final Four knocked it out of the park. All the food groups are represented for me on this one, and I can't wait till Saturday.
Well, I'll tell you this, Johnny. I know you've been known to place a wager or two legally, of course. I think I have a hard time seeing Duke lose on Saturday. I'll at least say that. I mean, you have the factor of the revenge, being mad from losing at home in Coach K's final game. You have just Duke rolling right now, and then you just have the storyline and the sentimental thing of Coach K coaching on the final night of the season for the final game of his career. I don't know what the money line is there, but I have a hard time thinking Duke loses on Saturday with just everything going on.
Have you seen the spread yet?
I think Duke's around -4 or 4.5.
4.5 for Duke, and your Jayhawks are also 4.5.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel as confident about KU as I do about Duke. I'll say that, but I love Duke. I don't know about the 4.5, but I love Duke to win. Maybe a money line them in a parlay or something.
Yeah.
But I will say this: last time KU and Villanova, they just played in the Final Four a couple of years ago, 2018. Yep. Villanova set some record. They hit like 17 threes or something crazy. I think it was like 14 threes in the first half or something. They literally just had, I think, 39 of their 47 points were from threes in the first half. It was crazy. So we had Kansas actually kind of owes Villanova for 1-2. And then they're without one of their better players that got hurt in the game yesterday or Saturday with like 1 minute left. So you wonder there. So yeah, it should be 2 great games. And man, as a Jayhawk alum, a Monday night title game of Kansas Duke would be pretty sweet,
wouldn't it? And has that? I don't know if that hasn't happened since 1991. I know Coach K's first title was against Roy Williams with the Kansas coach. That was that great legendary team he had. Kansas had Mark Randall and some other guys, a pretty good Kansas team. I don't know. You would probably know more than me, but I think that's probably the only title game that K and KU have met. So that'll
title
be cool.
game. Yes. Yeah. They actually were in the Elite Eight a couple of years ago. KU won in overtime in the Elite Eight to knock out Grayson Allen and his career on that team a couple of years ago.
I will say this, BJ, looking at these rosters, I think Duke has the most talented team, just player for player. McDonald's All-American for McDonald's All-American, lottery pick for lottery pick. Duke has the most talented roster, and you have to give them the advantage in coaching. they have Mike Krzyzewski. So, but other than that, I think Kansas, as far as talented roster, I think they're number 2. But then again, Villanova doesn't put a ton of guys into the NBA lottery, but they're always great. And Jay Wright's as good as there is a coach in the country right now in college basketball. Hubert Davis is kind of the newbie there, obviously. But yeah, again, terrific matchup. It gives people like you and I in our line of work, we need stories, man. We need cool stuff to talk about. And this, no question, fits that.
I really wanted to try to go and take my son and maybe pull it off, but I went and looked, and the cheapest ticket just to get in the building with, thanks to Duke winning, is now like $350 for one.
Yeah, Duke's
and then
jacked that price up, man.
No doubt. We got Rudy saying, "Don't see Nova beating the Jayhawks without more." Jay says he loves Love, obviously Caleb Love on UNC, who's actually from St. Louis. So I've been following his career. Cool to see that. He says go Tar Heels.
Carolina's got some ballers too, man. No question. With the way they're playing, yeah, they can beat Duke. I won't be shocked, BJ. I won't.
Hey, United Commercial Insurance, they make business insurance easy for you. We appreciate their support of the program. They can write policies in 44 states. So they're a local company, and, always love talking Boise State with Brandon. But they can, again, help you out if you own a business or if you're starting a business with all the different kinds of business insurance and liability insurance that you'll need. If you do already own a business insurance, they can get you a better rate probably. So just give them a call and check it out, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com, and tell them that BJ Rain sent you, and they'll hook you up. Ridley's Family Markets as well. ShopRidleys.com. 13 Idaho locations. They're all over the state. I know Johnny frequents the Cuna location often. I do as well. So check out them. They got the at-home shopping, the Skip app, all the great home shopping stuff there, and the home delivery, and definitely a great local grocery store to keep in mind. Ridley's Family Markets, and Blue and Orange Store, the blueandorangestore.com. If you're going to the spring game in 2 weeks, make sure to get there and get your new Nike gear. They got all the Mountain West Championship shirts and things like that. The blueandorangestore.com if you want to order it online. And if you are in the area, they're at Boise Town Square Mall. And Johnny, they will be providing the prizes, the Blue and Orange Store, for the upcoming Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament. The prizes, if you win the tournament, you get a $100 gift card per player to the Blue and Orange Store. And the date's June 3rd. Folks can remember that. I got some flack, Johnny. First annual, I guess technically it's supposed to be called the inaugural. I guess first annual is the second year, I guess technically.
Oh, people.
I did have some folks reach out to me with the graphics saying it should say inaugural. So I'll get that changed. But we can announce that Coach Leon Rice, Coach Tim Duryea, Coach Mike Burns have all committed to playing in this tournament. We're working on golf coaches as well. Kalen Downs, Dan Potter, hopefully going to have them involved. Some other coaches we're working on. Mike Prater is playing in this tournament. Jay Tust is playing in this tournament. Who shoots the lower round, Prater or Tust?
No question it's Prater, but I got JP beating both of them. Okay. And you got to reach out to my boy Cody Pickett, man. I want to see Cody Pickett out there swinging the club. He's kind of the king of Caldwell out there. Timberstone's a very familiar course for him. Cody Pickett, if you're anybody who knows him, text Cody and say you got to get into the Bronco Nation News Tournament. Absolutely.
And you guys are going to be, I believe, broadcasting the show out there that day, it sounds like. So that'll be fun, Johnny, to have you out there, and you'll be doing some interviews with Coach Rice and some of the participants, and should be a fun day. So looking forward to that. And again, that's June 3rd, and we're only a day or two away. The next couple of days here, we'll be finalizing the website page and having the registration on sale. So if you're wanting to play in the tournament, keep in mind we're about ready for that, and they'll be going on soon here. Sale here soon, and be looking out for that on Twitter and on the website. So spring football, Johnny, all of us were kind of, focusing on basketball, and rightfully so. And they also started spring football a week earlier than usual this year. So that first, week of the Mountain West tournament was all practice, and we were missing some of that. And, I know some folks have been paying attention to football. I was, wrapped up in basketball, obviously, like a lot of others were, and now it's right back into football today. So we're going to talk to JL Skinner after practice today. Folks can hear from JL Skinner on your show today, 95.3 FM, 3 to 6. What's just your I guess, takeaways, your synopsis of the final 2 weeks of spring ball here starting today?
Well, first, we get an email from Joe Nickel, the sports information director, Friday afternoon with the new roster, okay? And usually when you get that Friday afternoon email from Joe Nickel
of spring break week,
right? It's something that they don't really want us media folks to talk about, right? It's the old classic Friday dump, like the Cleveland Browns. They have that big Deshaun Watson presser. They put it on a Friday, man. No one's going to be talking about it today with the Final Four with Will Smith versus Chris Rock and everything else. But so we all looked at the roster. I don't know if you did too, but in our offices, you had Beeler and Prater like looking all over these rosters. Is there anything different? Why did they send us this roster now? Is there going to be is Talon Green not going to be on this roster? No, there was no surprises there. I think there was a couple of additions, but it was just when they conveniently sent us the roster. So I'm glad to have the roster, obviously. I saw they're practicing on the blue as we speak. Me and you typically would have been down there. It looks like a gorgeous day for spring practice. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of questions with this team. And a lot of times you go into spring ball and you don't have a ton of questions. You just say, hey, don't let anybody get hurt, right? We know what we're doing here and there. These coaches have been on the staff a long time. Not the case here, BJ. There's a lot of new coaches on this staff. There's a lot of positions that are available. Tim Plow in a really important year two with this offense. Hank Bachmeier, you got a 4-year starting quarterback week one. So other than that, though, who's going to replace Khalil Shakir? Where's the depth going to be in the backfield if George Halani can't be healthy? How good? I have a lot of high expectations for the offensive line. I think they've dotted their I's and crossed their T's all over the place on that line. KHG at center, most notably, he's back and he's 100% healthy. So this team has a lot of questions going into fall camp, and hopefully they can answer a few of those during spring ball. So they need to get the benefit of spring ball, BJ, and that's exactly, finding out some of these answers to some of these questions. Hank Bachmeier said, this is the first time in his career he's had the same OC for 2 straight years. I think you're going to see a lot in that. Is Mike correct on that?
Yep.
Did Hank say that? Yeah.
Yep.
So a lot of questions. I can't wait for the spring game, but football time, man. Let's do it.
Eric Keesaw. And then you had, who, by the way, I don't know if you've seen the Auburn coaching staff, due to the departures and all that stuff, the OC this year, Eric Keesaw, the DC is Jeff Schmedding.
Yeah.
Like Brian Harsin has the whole Boise State group back together, like running Auburn, which is, I would say, a pretty important year for him at Auburn after
Didn't
going
he have Zach Hill year 1, too?
Nope. Zach Hill went to Arizona State. Oh, no. Bachmeier did. Yes.
Yeah.
I believe he did.
Yeah, we went from Zach Hill to Keesaw to Plow and then Plow again. So, big year for Hank, and a big year, obviously, as you know, this program, they can't go 7-5 again, BJ. Everybody around it knows it. You can't get into this, hey, we had 3 years where they were going 7-5, 6-6. I mean, not even really 8-4 in this town. 8-4 isn't like an acceptable record. It's crazy how high this bar has been set. And I think that, they're going to allow Coach Avalos, obviously, the 1-7-5, but that sucker's got to be a 9-3 this season. And hopefully they have the schedule to help out a little bit, but you can't get into a rut, as you know, in college football, especially in the Mountain West, when you've owned this league for decades, essentially. You've won it more than anybody else. And to have a back-to-back 7, they need to win a lot of games this year, Raines. You know that.
Well, they need to hopefully finish a bowl game too, because how many? What is it? 1 bowl game in the last 5 years or something? They've actually finished. They had the last 2 years. They have not even gone to a bowl game, right? Or didn't have the game, and then they had the 1 year. What year was that? When
they lost to Washington.
Yep, but then the 1 year where the game got canceled because of the first responder bowl, because of the lightning and the storms. Wasn't that in that was in 2018. So the Las Vegas Bowl to Washington, where they lost 38-7, is the only real full bowl game they've had since going all the way back to Leighton Vander Esch in 2017 against Oregon in the Las Vegas Bowl. So 18, 19, 20, 21. I mean, you're going into a 5th year here where you've only finished 1 bowl game and you got beaten badly by Coach Pete in Washington. So you haven't gone into the offseason with a good feeling in 5 years for this program.
That's crazy.
And so it is, because even the one game got canceled in the first quarter, the other game you lose badly, and then you don't play 2 years in a row. So, and I think they will, Johnny. I think the schedule is a little easier this year. I think that there were some major improvements made to the coaching staff. in some key areas. I think Keith Boniface is going to be a huge upgrade at the running backs coach position.
Yeah.
I think obviously George Halani has to stay healthy. But I feel like, this team is a 9 or 10 win team this year. And I think that if they can beat Oregon State, you got a good chance to start 4-0 and get, with 3 road wins and really kind of get the momentum going for this season. You're probably ranked and probably kind of, going into week 5 there with a chance to really start to put something together here. And they need this, Johnny. They need it. You're right. Because not just for the fan base, but for the national perception of the program, for the Big 12 potentially, if that dream stays alive. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why this program Cincinnati picked a good time to have 2 really, really good seasons, and look where they are. And I'm not saying that they're making decisions. They're not making decisions based on 1 or 2 years. But you heard Mike Gundy. I'm sure you guys talked about it last week, his comments, and it's that carrot is still dangling out there, and it would certainly help if they're ranked in a national story this year.
That's the greatest thing that can happen to this football program is a Big 12 invitation. That's bigger than winning a Fiesta Bowl next year or the following year, BJ, and doing it within the Mountain West Conference. To really build this the way I think Jeremiah Dickey wants to, he just needs more money. And the television contract in the Big 12, look, I was told that in the NCAA basketball tournament, you win a game, you get about $1 million for your school. Think about this. The St. Peter's Peacocks won 3 games, $3 million to their school, plus whatever they got for the loss against North Carolina.
Yeah, it's actually not based on win-loss, it's just based on playing in the game. It's the same.
So they got $4 million. St. Pete's did.
It's actually $2 million. It's about $2 million for however it's broken down, but maybe that goes to the conference, and maybe St. Peter's was going to get $1 million out of it. But I think I broke it down for the Mountain West. Every game the Mountain West appeared in, and it's spread out over like a 6-year period. I think it's like $30-something thousand per game. So they got $120,000 this year for the 4 appearances, and that's spread out over 6 years. So that's like,
what does Boise State get annually in television money? Is it less than $5 million?
I think I want to say it was like a little high. I want to say it was like around 6 this year or something.
Okay,
last year.
That's about as that's about as good as they can get without going to the huge bowl game, right? The point I was trying to make is, a school like St. Peter's and what they were able to do to generate that type of money for the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, like Boise State, like that's almost on a Boise State level. And they went on a run in March. For Boise State to get what they want, that Big 12 paycheck, that's the biggest thing, in my opinion, that can happen. And Boise State becomes a Big 12 school for men's basketball too. So yeah, that still is that dangling carrot, as I like to call it, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and probably still a long ways away, but it's not going to hurt you if you can get back to winning 9, 10, 11, 12 games a year. And I think this fan base has an appetite to get back to that.
Well, I'll say this, Johnny. I think it's around $6.5 million that the Mountain West school that Boise State got this last year.
Yeah.
I just looked last year. The Big 12 schools got $40 million.
Right. That's 6.
That's almost all of Boise State's budget right now. Their budget's
basically
like
7 times the difference, man.
And I literally think Boise State's athletic department budget is like somewhere around 40-45 million. So
and that's where Jeremiah Dickey came from. Kind of the right-hand man there at Baylor with all this money and all this stuff that you can do. Here it's like, hey man, we just need to keep asking for money. And obviously it's a lot easier to ask for money when you're in a power conference and when you also have that the Big 12 got $40 million last year. Holy smokes, man. That's way more than even the Pac-12. So that would be the biggest thing ever for Boise State if they could somehow get into that big Big 12 conference, BJ.
Hey, if you're looking for a career change, Transportation Compliance Service can get you out there towing that first load. If you're looking to be a truck driver, they can get you out on the road and get you going right away. So it's a new industry with the pandemic that's really taken off. And so if you're looking for a career change, it's very easy to get those permits and all that stuff. Well, it's easy if you use TCS. If you try doing it on your own, it's a lot tougher, and most folks usually screw it up and end up going out of business. So complete trucking compliance management. You can check them out, transcompservice.com, transcompservice.com. They just signed up Warren G, the rapper, his tour buses are now using TCS, and so you can as well. And so appreciate their support, as well as Boise Dentistry Co., family dentistry and wellness, BoiseDentistryCo.com, locations around the Treasure Valley. And those are my kids there on the screen. They very rarely smile, so Dr. Miner must be doing something right there. So appreciate him. And again, if you want to go talk Boise State sports at the dentist, just check out BoiseDentistryCo.com. And Johnny, as we kind of wrap this thing up here, Pro Day is on Wednesday. As I said, Boise State, 8 participants coming up in Pro Day. Daniel Cantrell, the long snapper. You have Octavius Evans and Khalil Shakir at receiver. Cyrus Abibi-Likio at running back. Obviously, Kekala Kaniho at safety. Joel Velasquez at punter, and then a pair of offensive linemen in Uzo Osuji and Jake Stetz. Obviously going to be a big, important day for Khalil Shakir. Going to have to back up that 40 time at the combine. Probably got some more buzz with what he did at the Senior Bowl, then backed it up with another strong performance at the combine. I assume there's going to be a lot of NFL personnel coming out to see Khalil Shakir. And then, obviously, the other hopefuls behind him are going to benefit from all those people be here to see Khalil Shakir as well.
Yeah, not exactly a star-studded lineup of Pro Day that we've seen in the past at this school. But, yeah, that's what most schools are lucky to have. One legit day 2 prospect in Khalil Shakir and a bunch of other really good college players hoping to catch an eye of someone. All it takes is one team. Now, I don't see any of these players getting drafted, BJ, but dude, like 42% of the NFL is undrafted. You don't need to get drafted to play in this league. So, and you're going to see a lot of those guys putting their best efforts out there. They just want to impress one GM, one coach, one position coach to say, hey, a rookie mini camp invite is all I'm asking for. If I do well at the rookie mini camp, then you're going to invite me to actual training camp. And that's kind of how the process goes. And we'll see if any other Broncos can find themselves in the training camp this August, obviously outside of Khalil Shakir. I'll throw a question to you. Outside of Khalil Shakir, if you had to put money on one player working out at Pro Day this week that will be in an NFL training camp, where would your money go?
That's a good one. I actually, as crazy as it sounds, might go with one of the specialists, either Daniel Cantrell or Joel Velasquez. If you're a long snapper and you're pretty good and you find the right team, that's crazy as it sounds. I'm not saying he's going to get drafted, but somebody will give a long snapper a chance. So I think Daniel Cantrell probably gets a tryout somewhere.
Bet. I like that.
Joel Velasquez, for as inconsistent as he is, actually has a really strong leg. So he may get on, as a for both the punting, but maybe
leg.
Maybe the field goal kicking too. I mean, he didn't get a chance to do that much at Boise State, but he has a very strong leg, and some guy that can do the field goals and the punting. You might see Velasquez as well. But if I had to go one guy from the actual group, probably Abibi-Likio, I guess.
I think he's coming on my show today, Cyrus.
Maybe Octavius Evans. He had some good tape, and he's got size. I don't know.
For me, it's Kaniho, and I know he's like a buck something, like very small, but the guy just has such a knack for football. He always puts himself in the right position. He's probably not big enough. He's probably not fast enough. He's probably not strong enough, BJ. But if you meet with the kid and you get to know him, he's the type of person you want in your building. And he just seems to always make the smart football play is what I'll
get a chance.
It wouldn't shock me if Kekala Kaniho is in an NFL camp. It would shock me if he makes a 53, but I think maybe Kaniho can find a way in a camp if he finds the right team.
Well, another guy in a similar spot that put up crazy numbers. It wasn't the biggest guy, obviously. Avery Williams, got to be a 5th-round pick and proved some things last year. Playing with the Falcons. So who knows? But Johnny, appreciate it, man. We're out of time here, and always enjoy having you on. It goes pretty quick, even though when it doesn't seem like there's a ton to talk about. So appreciate it, Johnny. We'll be listening 3 to 6 today, 95.3 FM, 1350 AM, KTIK.com, the KTIK app. Folks can download your subscribe to your show on iTunes. That's what I do if I can't listen live, to listen to it that way too. Just type in Prater in the ballgame, KTIK. So appreciate you, Johnny, and we'll be listening today, man.
Thanks, bud.
There he is, John Mallory. Appreciate him, KTIK and KTIK.com. So awesome stuff there, and appreciate them for joining us. Thanks to rowpaint.com, our title sponsor. they did some work on my garage, on my patio. We appreciate them for doing some stuff and helping us out. They can transform your garage or patio with those concrete coatings. But they can do residential painting, interior, exterior, commercial painting, industrial painting, you name it. They can do it for you. So it's roepaint.com. You see the number on the screen there. Power and people, pride in painting, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. Pay attention. News on that golf tournament is coming soon. We'll get the information out to you in the next couple of days. And again, we're going to have some coaches from around the area playing, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and we can't wait to get going on that. So thanks so much for watching the show today. Make sure to download our podcast version as well. iTunes, Spotify, or Amazon Music. Just go to BroncoNationNews.com, click on the podcast link, and then if you can't watch a video version of it, you can listen to the audio version as well. If you're on YouTube, please like the video. Please subscribe to it. We're trying to get over 1,000 YouTube subscribers by the spring game. That'll help us start to generate some revenue and things like that way. So appreciate it. Have a great Monday. JL Skinner video will be coming to the YouTube channel later today as well. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.